and left the city that had been his home for so long. However, he couldn't shake the memories of his childhood and the sweet, intoxicating scents that filled the streets of the French Quarter. In an effort to capture those memories and take a piece of New Orleans with him wherever he went, Hez decided to create a perfume inspired by the city. He spent months researching and experimenting with different scents until he finally found the perfect combination that reminded him of the good times spent growing up in the city. Hez's perfume became a hit among his friends and family, and before long, he was selling his fragrance to people across the world. Although he was no longer living in New Orleans, Hez had found a way to keep the city close to his heart and share its unique charm with the world. That's how Bourbon Street EDP was born, and now Hez Parfums is continuing to create fragrances that deliver a New Orleans experience like no other perfumer can. After growing up in New Orleans, Hez decided it was time for a change. He packed up his things and left the city that had been his home for so long. However, he couldn't shake the memories of his childhood and the sweet, intoxicating scents that filled the streets of the French Quarter. In an effort to capture those memories and take a piece of New Orleans with him wherever he went, Hez decided to create a perfume inspired by the city. He spent months researching and experimenting with different scents until he finally found the perfect combination that reminded him of the good times spent growing up in the city. Hez's perfume became a hit among his friends and family, and before long, he was selling his fragrance to people across the world. Although he was no longer living in New Orleans, Hez had found a way to keep the city close to his heart and share its unique charm with the world. That's how Bourbon Street EDP was born, and now Hez Parfums is continuing to create fragrances that deliver a New Orleans experience like no other perfumer can. After growing up in New Orleans, Hez decided it was time for a change. He packed up his things and left the city that had been his home for so long. However, he couldn't shake the memories of his childhood and the sweet, intoxicating scents that filled the streets of the French Quarter. In an effort to capture those memories and take a piece of New Orleans with him wherever he went, Hez decided to create a perfume inspired by the city. He spent months researching and experimenting with different scents until he finally found the perfect combination that reminded him of the good times spent growing up in the city. Hez's perfume became a hit among his friends and family, and before long, he was selling his fragrance to people across the world. Although he was no longer living in New Orleans, Hez had found a way to keep the city close to his heart and share its unique charm with the world. That's how Bourbon Street EDP was born, and now Hez Parfums is continuing to create fragrances that deliver a New Orleans experience like no other perfumer can. After growing up in New Orleans, Hez decided it was time for a change. He packed up his things and left the city that had been his home for so long. However, he couldn't shake the memories of his childhood and the sweet, intoxicating scents that filled the streets of the French Quarter. In an effort to capture those memories and take a piece of New Orleans with him wherever he went, Hez decided to create a perfume inspired by the city. He spent months researching and experimenting with different scents until he finally found the perfect combination that reminded him of the good times spent growing up in the city. Hez's perfume became a hit among his friends and family, and before long, he was selling his fragrance to people across the world. Although he was no longer living in New Orleans, Hez had found a way to keep the city close to his heart and share its unique charm with the world. That's how Bourbon Street EDP was born, and now Hez Parfums is continuing to create fragrances that deliver a New Orleans experience like no other perfumer can. After growing up in New Orleans, Hez decided it was time for a change. He packed up his things and left the city that had been his home for so long. However, he couldn't shake the memories of his childhood and the sweet, intoxicating scents that filled the streets of the French Quarter. In an effort to capture those memories and take a piece of New Orleans with him wherever he went, Hez decided to create a perfume inspired by the city. He spent months researching and experimenting with different scents until he finally found the perfect combination that reminded him of the good times spent growing up in the city. Hez's perfume became a hit among his friends and family, and before long, he was selling his fragrance to people across the world. Although he was no longer living in New Orleans, Hez had found a way to keep the city close to his heart and share its unique charm with the world. That's how Bourbon Street EDP was born, and now Hez Parfums is continuing to create fragrances that deliver a New Orleans experience like no other perfumer can. After growing up in New Orleans, Hez decided it was time for a change. He packed up his things and left the city that had been his home for so long. However, he couldn't shake the memories of his childhood and the sweet, intoxicating scents that filled the streets of the French Quarter. In an effort to capture those memories and take a piece of New Orleans with him wherever he went, Hez decided to create a perfume inspired by the city. He spent months researching and experimenting with different scents until he finally found the perfect combination that reminded him of the good times spent growing up in the city. Hez's perfume became a hit among his friends and family, and before long, he was selling his fragrance to people across the world. Although he was no longer living in New Orleans, Hez had found a way to keep the city close to his heart and share its unique charm with the world. That's how Bourbon Street EDP was born, and now, Hez Parfums is continuing to create fragrances that deliver a New Orleans experience like no other perfumer can. After growing up in New Orleans, Hez decided it was time for a change. He packed up his things and left the city that had been his home for so long. However, he couldn't shake the memories of his childhood and the sweet, intoxicating scents that filled the streets of the French Quarter. In an effort to capture those memories and take a piece of New Orleans with him wherever he went, Hez decided to create a perfume inspired by the city. He spent months researching and experimenting with different scents until he finally found the perfect combination that reminded him of the good times spent growing up in the city. Hez's perfume became a hit among his friends and family, and before long, he was selling his fragrance to people across the world. Although he was no longer living in New Orleans, Hez had found a way to keep the city close to his heart and share its unique charm with the world. That's how Bourbon Street EDP was born, and now, Hez Parfums is continuing to create fragrances that deliver a New Orleans experience like no other perfumer can. After growing up in New Orleans, Hez decided it was time for a change. He packed up his things and left the city that had been his home for so long. However, he couldn't shake the memories of his childhood and the sweet, intoxicating scents that filled the streets of the French Quarter. In an effort to capture those memories and take a piece of New Orleans with him wherever he went, Hez decided to create a perfume inspired by the city. He spent months researching and experimenting with different scents until he finally found the perfect combination that reminded him of the good times spent growing up in the city. Hez's perfume became a hit among his friends and family, and before long, he was selling his fragrance to people across the world. Although he was no longer living in New Orleans, Hez had found a way to keep the city close to his heart and share its unique charm with the world. That's how Bourbon Street EDP was born, and now, Hez Parfums is continuing to create fragrances that deliver a New Orleans experience like no other perfumer can. After growing up in New Orleans, Hez decided it was time for a change. He packed up his things and left the city that had been his home for so long. However, he couldn't shake the memories of his childhood and the sweet, intoxicating scents that filled the streets of the French Quarter. In an effort to capture those memories and take a piece of New Orleans with him wherever he went, Hez decided to create a perfume inspired by the city. He spent months researching and experimenting with different scents until he finally found the perfect combination that reminded him of the good times spent growing up in the city. Hez's perfume became a hit among his friends and family, and before long, he was selling his fragrance to people across the world. Although he was no longer living in New Orleans, Hez had found a way to keep the city close to his heart and share its unique charm with the world. That's how Bourbon Street EDP was born, and now, Hez Parfums is continuing to create fragrances that deliver a New Orleans experience like no other perfumer can. After growing up in New Orleans, Hez decided it was time for a change. He packed up his things and left the city that had been his home for so long. However, he couldn't shake the memories of his childhood and the sweet, intoxicating scents that filled the streets of the French Quarter. In an effort to capture those memories and take a piece of New Orleans with him wherever he went, Hez decided to create a perfume inspired by the city. He spent months researching and experimenting with different scents until he finally found the perfect combination that reminded him of the good times spent growing up in the city. Hez's perfume became a hit among his friends and family, and before long, he was selling his fragrance to people across the world. Although he was no longer living in New Orleans, Hez had found a way to keep the city close to his heart and share its unique charm with the world. That's how Bourbon Street EDP was born, and now, Hez Parfums is continuing to create fragrances that deliver a New Orleans experience like no other perfumer can.
Yo, yo. All
Hey,
right.
what's up,
Get
man?
started. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, D?
Oh, man, I cannot complain, man. You are the man. Always got to put, you in the game, but I saw you had the hat on, so I said, let me throw one
Yeah,
on too.
yeah, you gotta represent that.
Yeah, it's all
I like
love,
that,
man.
man. Yeah, it look
I
great,
said,
man.
let me throw it on. I got a lot of hair on my head, so I got to wear it kind of weird.
Yeah,
Be like, I got a lot of hair. I'm
yeah.
trying. I'm trying.
You been doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good,
Yeah,
man. Just living it up, man. I don't know if you
yeah.
know, man, but me and my wife are expecting a baby boy. So
Oh,
um,
congratulations! Wow, yeah, that's
yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
excited about that.
yeah,
Um, just looking forward to that. She's due in March, so
yeah.
just
Wow,
excited, man.
it's your first child?
Yeah, yeah. First child.
Wow, wow. Congratulations, man. That's a blessing. Yeah,
Yeah, it definitely is, man. Like I see people raising their kids, and now it's like I take it into a whole nother perspective of like,
yeah.
I treat kids like I always treat kids good, and I'm always good with kids. But now it's like I treat them with so much more love because I'm like I got one on the way. So
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, your kids are they are an extension of you, and we
Mhm,
talk about like no matter what faith you have, spirituality you have,
mhm,
but
mhm,
everybody wants to believe that, when they're gone, part of them lives on, and one way for
mhm,
sure that for certain that you live on is through your kids.
mhm,
So whatever happens, in the afterlife and all that stuff, that's great.
mhm.
But no matter what, when you have a child, you're leaving a piece of yourself behind, and
Yeah.
God willing, that they reproduce, you'll have grandkids, and in that way, you just
Mhm.
continue. I mean, that's really the blessing of it. So yeah, congratulations, man. That's awesome.
I appreciate that, man, and I
Yeah.
cannot figure out how to make this hat look right. So I think I might not be able to wear it. It's
That's
just
all right. That's
I
all
got too
right.
much hair.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So I'm glad, seem like everybody's doing good. Shout outs to the people that's in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always
Welcome
make
everybody.
always make the statement to like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you're tuning in live, I appreciate you. If you're tuning in after a fact, I appreciate you as well. So I wanted to basically introduce the game. I know a lot of people have already did their reviews, things like that. But for the people that don't know, Hez has released his 3 cents for the fall. So he's been releasing these like crazy this year. He released his first one last year, Bourbon Street, and this year he just went ham with just releasing fragrances like crazy. And they all just get better with time. It's like fine wine. Every fragrance is just better than the next. It's crazy. If people know that our relationship, I'm always raving about how good his fragrances smell. Every time I smell a new fragrance, I have hand grenades sitting right here, so I'm always getting my nose on it because it's literally one of my favorite scents that he makes. But we're not going to do that. If you want to see anything about hand grenade, I do have other videos that review that one and the previous ones. Bourbon Street and you know Big Easy Tropical and et cetera, et cetera. Um, but that's neither here nor there because we're going to review these new scents for the fall, which is Blue Dog, Hurricane, and last but not least, which might be your top seller because everybody's raving about this one like crazy, but Banana Bread Banshee. Um, so which one you want to start with, man? I'm gonna get this sniff and rate and everything and
Yeah.
go from
So
there.
you haven't tried these at all yet, you said?
Actually I couldn't help it. I did. Like I
Got
was
you.
so anxious, and it actually, to be honest, one of them was so strong. I think it might have been Blue Dog. I was smelling
Yeah.
it. I was smelling it through the atomizer, like not even opening it up, and I was like, "Oh my god, this smells so good!" And that's
It
what
was
tempted
calling
me.
you.
Yeah, that's what tempted me so hard that I was like,
Yeah.
"You gotta spray it."
I
Um,
think we have to wait for Blue Dog then, because it sounds like you're a little excited about that one. So maybe we should wait on
I'm excited
that.
about all three of these, man. Like
Yeah,
they're just like you literally are taking the game by storm or of fragrances. I really just can humbly say like I appreciate everything that you're doing to the fragrance game
thank
because
you.
you're the only one that I can see that's making fragrances that are well, besides like City Rhythm, because they do those city-based fragrances, but you're the only
Hmm.
one that's really making it true to the area of New Orleans because you have lived there. And
Yeah,
so every fragrance, when I tell you, and everybody that's in here, these fragrances literally smell like what they're trying to captivate. It's crazy, like literally hand grenade. If you've ever been to New Orleans, hand grenade smells exactly like a hand grenade. It's almost to the point that I want to drink it and I can't. I have to remind myself I'm spraying this and not drinking it.
yeah.
Same thing with
One
cafe.
day we're gonna get together on bourbon, and we'll have some hand
Yeah,
grenades,
yeah, we're
maybe a
gonna get
hurricane.
together. You gotta let me know when you're in town. We can
Oh
chill out,
yeah,
up the
yeah,
French Quarter,
definitely,
have a good
absolutely.
time, man.
Yeah,
But yeah, just like Cafe Beignet, it's like I want to just put it in my mouth and taste it because it smells just like coffee and beignets at Cafe Du Monde. It's
yeah.
ridiculous, So if you want to, we can start off with let's do Hurricane.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, let's do Hurricane.
Yeah. So last time you and I came together, we were discussing the summer line,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
we were talking about, the new fragrances that
Yeah, yeah.
that I was working on, and I
Mhm.
said that at that time I mentioned that I was going to drop a couple of hints,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
kind of like made it sound like I left the hint very vague at, talking
yeah.
about it's going to be cherry. I hope everybody likes cherry,
Right,
and
right.
I intentionally made it sound like that, but that wasn't actually the clue or the hint.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
anybody that was paying attention, you may have noticed that just a little while after that, when I was talking about,
Mhm.
things that are iconic for Bourbon Street, in the
Yeah,
French
yeah.
Quarter, like things that you would think about. I
Mhm,
actually
mhm,
said specifically hurricane and hand grenade,
mhm, mhm.
because to me these two things are they're you're probably gonna pick one or the other when you go down
Yeah,
there. I mean,
yeah.
but these are the two most famous, most popular drinks that
Mhm.
you're gonna get in the French Quarter. And I think
Exactly,
like most people think of one of these two things when they think of going down there and partying, if not both of them.
exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah, so yeah, let's start with
Yeah,
Hurricane.
yeah. Well, I mean, even like I mean, when like you said, when people go to New Orleans and they go to Bourbon Street, the two things like you said they think of is they think of going to Tropical Island and getting a hand grenade, or
Hmm.
I mean, my favorite is Pat O'Brien's for the Hurricanes,
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
but it's either they think of those two things,
yeah,
so at the end of the day it's like the fact that you're taking the most famous things out of New Orleans and captivating that to a scent is just impeccable, like
yeah,
even with Blue Dog, I seen people was like, hey, what is this Blue Dog thing, and I literally was on there explaining to him like,
yeah,
you ain't never been to New Orleans if you don't know about the Blue Dog.
yeah,
That's not
yeah.
his
It's a
pet
bit,
dog or anything. That's just a
yeah,
famous painting that you see
yeah.
all around. And good job of the commercial too. You and the in the media group and everything
M3, yeah,
explaining it because
yeah,
that was perfect.
yeah. Big shout out to M3. He's here in the chat also. Hey,
Yeah, yeah,
Mateo, my
yeah.
brother.
Shout out.
I have to give him a shout out. I have to give him some love because, of course, he's my partner. And,
Yeah.
it's one thing to build a fragrance and, and tell a story through a fragrance, but something like Blue Dog, like you mentioned, people that are from New Orleans, we have a strong connection to Blue Dog. Like you heard Blue Dog, you probably thought like, oh yeah, you know exactly like where I'm
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
from with that. But
exactly.
people from outside of New Orleans, they hear that, and of course they think like, what is this? Is this what is a Blue Dog? Who is a blue? Is that your dog? Or so I get
Yeah.
that, and that's really where M3, where Mateo helps me out so much is being
Hmm.
able to kind of to capture the story that I'm trying to tell, and and give kind of a trailer for it in a way
Hmm.
that people that aren't really from the area can appreciate and understand a little bit. So it helps me out a lot because I want to represent where we come from. I want to represent our culture, and you kind of, some parts of it you really have to be familiar with a little bit of it before you get into the fragrance to understand or appreciate, where my head was at when I'm making it. Like Daiquiri Original, for instance, like some people weren't really sure where I was aiming for, because I think, in people outside of New Orleans, they hear daiquiri. A lot of times your first thought is strawberry daiquiri and then
Okay.
maybe pina colada, those types of things. So I think when they smelled an orange forward thing, maybe they were a little bit confused, like, what is this, how is this related to daiquiris necessarily? In New Orleans, we know that an orange forward daiquiri is a 190, octane, and that's pretty obvious. But yeah, just like that. I mean, with Blue Dog has a tremendous backstory. It's actually, something that I'm most excited about from the inspiration standpoint and the backstory standpoint, because there is such a rich, deep story to be told with the Blue Dog. But it does require a little bit of history and a little bit of explanation to kind of, to make people understand where I'm coming from or appreciate, the inspiration for what it actually is. So
Yeah.
yeah, big shout out to M3, because that's where, he really takes it and, and helps elevate the story by presenting it in a trailer or something where, we can actually, pay tribute to the basis for the fragrance, what it's inspired on, give
Right.
people the real backstory, to go along with the fragrance itself. So yeah.
Yeah. And he's definitely amazing at doing that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to I just took a shower, so I don't have any fragrances on right now. So I'm going to spray Hurricane, and I'm going to read the notes off of the website to let people know what's in it. It does
Hmm.
have top notes of cherry, passion fruit, pineapple, and orange. It has mid notes of rum, cognac, gin, lily of the valley, orange blossom, and ozone. And then it has base notes of sandalwood, cedar, isoe super, and musk. So let me spray that on my hand. Man, man, man. I mean, right off the back, of course, you're going to get a lot of those fruity notes because, yeah, that is the top notes. I get mainly the two notes I do get. Well, actually, to be honest, I get a little bit of all of them, but that cherry and that orange really kind of sticks out to me.
Oh yeah.
And it's beautiful. Like the cherry is not too sweet. It's
Hmm.
realistic. That's what I like.
Yeah.
So I can tell the fragrance oils are like perfection, and I know that you really do take pride in your fragrance oils. So
Yeah.
I'm letting people know that like his notes are very realistic. So this cherry, it literally like I can't even say a Walmart cherry. I'll say this is probably a cherry from Whole Foods, like organic.
Organic, yeah.
Yeah, this is wow. This is like a nice, like juicy cherry that you just bite into, and that juice just gets all
Yeah.
everywhere, and it just tastes amazing. So,
Hmm.
and then
Yeah, and
as
I think,
yeah,
cherry is one of those notes. I mean, you either love
mhm,
it or you don't love it. So, I mean, for
exactly.
everyone that's watching, if you love cherry, then this is for you. But if you're already not, crazy about cherry and other fragrances, then maybe this isn't for you, because it is a cherry forward, and especially on the top.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, but it is a very realistic cherry, and I wanted it to actually smell like the drink, and the cherries that
yeah,
they
yeah.
use in the drink. So yeah.
Exactly. And I'm the type of person that I just love fragrances, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some fragrances that, I don't like, but it's not like I don't like them because of the notes. It's just like I don't like them because of the way they put those notes together. Like I love
Yeah.
oud, but I've had some oud fragrances that are just, it's just I had to shy away from it because it just didn't
Yeah.
smell right. But
Yeah.
but this one, I mean, even as it dries down, I still get those fruity notes. But I am starting to get some of those boozy notes actually as well. Um, yeah, it's coming out really in a part, like you said, just like the drink. Like you when you have that drink, sometimes they actually do put cherries in it. You smell all of that, and then as you're drinking that drink, you kind of get those boozy notes to come in, and even now, it gets a little bit woody without being too overbearing in the woodiness, because at the same time, you're trying to focus on the drink and not really the aspect.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's a fragrance. So if you made it smell
Yeah.
too much like the drink, then they're going to be like, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's
That's
too
that's
fruity.
always the balance with this type of fragrance, because you want it to smell enough like the drink to, to really bring somebody's mind to that drink.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you can't make a fragrance that's just fruit and booze and expect it
Exactly.
to be a hit. It's just gonna be
Exactly.
too sweet, too basic. I mean, it's not going to impress anybody, and it's not going to last either, because those notes typically are lighter notes. They evaporate much faster, so you need the base. But yeah, I mean, the tricky part is finding a base that's complementary, that doesn't take away
Mhm.
from the drink aspect.
Yeah.
So,
And sandalwood
but
is
yeah.
perfect.
Oh
I've
yeah,
noticed
yeah.
that. Because like you said, with there's two types of notes I find that can go away really quickly if you just base your fragrance on that, and that's fruity notes and fresh notes.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
blue fragrances or green fragrances that are heavily based on like your watery type notes, your fresher notes, and your fruity notes, they can just go away really quick. So you have to kind of have that balance.
Hmm.
So that's really good. And then it's a little bit musky, and like I said, with the sandalwood, it's not overpowering. It's just like I said, it's just an overall beautiful scent. I love the
Thank
fact
you.
that
Yeah.
you can actually smell those top notes throughout the entire scent. Like even on the dry down, you still
Yeah.
get those, passion fruit notes. You still get those, um, like I'm looking here with the pineapple and like I said, the orange and the cherry. You still get those notes throughout the whole fragrance, because at the end of the day, you want them to know, hey, just like the drink, this is what this smells like. And so that's
Yeah.
just, that's just beautiful. Now,
Yeah.
now me giving this a rating, I would definitely, man, my I might have to take my Apple Watch off because it thinks I'm talking to Siri.
What do you want to? It
Fine.
wants to know what the rating is.
Yeah, I can't find this. I'm like, okay, Apple Watch.
Yeah.
But as far as rating this, I would definitely, like, I always rate your fragrances super high. So I'm definitely, to my nose, I can give this one a good 8.5.
Yeah.
I definitely will rate this one high, because and I'm rating it at 8.5 because I know for a fact that we're about to get to some ones that are dang near tens, you
Yeah.
know, if not tens, because like this one, I noticed even in the fragrance community that they love it, but they just love these other two way more. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how I feel. Every time we release fragrances, there's the one that's, oh my God, this is so good, until
Yeah.
they smell the rest of them, you
Yeah.
know?
And
And
that's the
so,
downside of releasing multiple fragrances at a time, is that
yeah.
you're always going to have some that kind of get overshadowed by others. And if they were
Mhm.
released on their own, then, they would probably do a little bit better, getting a little
Yeah,
bit more
yeah, yeah.
attention, but, and, I mean, this year we really wanted to focus on making a presence and making
Mhm,
a
mhm.
stance. Like, this is who we are. This is what we're capable of. Being so new, and getting a lot of focus of people just wanting to see like what direction we're going in, what are we capable of doing.
Mhm.
We have these releases where we're doing, 3 or 4 fragrances at a time.
Right, right.
That's likely not going to be the case always. I mean, that's
Mhm,
just
mhm.
kind of like us building our catalog, building our portfolio, making
Exactly.
a strong stance in the community, letting people know that we're very serious about what we're doing and kind of the direction of the brand
Mhm,
where we're heading. But
mhm.
what we do plan on doing is still putting out a lot of releases throughout the year, but doing them, one and at a time, and doing them in more frequent intervals,
Mhm,
so that people
mhm.
are just getting kind of a steady flow of fragrances, rather than 3 and then at a time, and then
Yeah,
maybe a couple months of nothing, and then 3 at a
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But it's worked really well for us this year. I don't have any regrets on doing it that way. But
Mhm,
it is, what the part of that strategy is that one fragrance typically does outshine the rest, and it gets a lot of attention compared to the others. And we
mhm,
typically see the sales that do the best on that fragrance at
mhm.
first. Now, a lot of people know that have ordered from me. I always include samples and things with each purchase. I want
Absolutely.
people to experience as much as they can, and I want them to feel like they really got something special for their purchase, not just the minimum, but a little something extra to make them feel like, okay, I'm actually,
Mhm.
getting my money's worth here. But part of that also is, to allow people the opportunity to experience fragrances that maybe they were interested in, but not as interested as the one that they purchased. We
Mhm.
recognize that not everybody has the money to buy 3 bottles at once, or 4 bottles at once. And we don't
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
expect, people to not feed their children over it or anything like that. So, if somebody buys a single bottle, we automatically, add extra stuff just to give people the opportunity to at
Yeah.
least try it.
Yeah.
If they want to purchase it later, then great. If not, at least they had the chance to experience it for themselves, and they know, that what we have to offer for the future.
Absolutely.
So, I
Absolutely.
don't worry too much about the fact that one of these fragrances is, somewhat overshadowing the others in the
Mhm.
present
Mhm.
moment. Because in the long run, people will experience it. They'll make their own opinions about these other fragrances. And
Mhm.
the beauty of it is some of these are going to be sleepers that are going to surprise people later. They're going to be like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that fragrance was released last year. I'm just now finding out about it, that type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool too, just to have
Mhm.
that. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I definitely agree with everything you said. And just to let you guys know, too, look at his background. This man is grinding. Look at all of those perfume oils in the back. This man makes fragrance after fragrance, like it's crazy. And he's
Yeah.
not lying because the background. I just noticed that, and I said I need to shout that out because that lets you know.
This is just my home office stuff that I have
Yeah,
here for taking around. But yeah, I do have a lot of oils.
yeah, this
So
man is
yeah.
grinding. So he's coming for you guys. He's coming for them bigger houses. He's coming.
Oh
He
yeah.
might not be there yet,
Yeah.
but he's coming. He's coming, and he's coming
Yeah.
quick. And one
I'm
thing I
I'm
do know,
coming to inspire them. That's it. I don't want to threaten them. I just want to inspire them. That if they can make
yeah,
some new stuff, push them to, kind of,
yeah,
you know, add some new
think
inspiration to
outside the
the
box.
game.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll be that little
And
fire underneath them.
mhm, that's excellent, man. And one thing too that what's going on, Josh? But one
Hey,
thing
Josh.
too that I noticed is a lot of your fragrances, you say like some do better than others, but I notice almost every last like every time you release fragrances, you're always releasing that ad that says we're sold out of this, we're sold out of this, we're
Oh
sold out of
yeah.
this. And so I look and I say, my God, like, you sell out of your fragrances really quick. And that's a good thing
Yeah.
because it's like people are talking, and not only people are talking, but they're buying. And that is amazing because it's like these people love what you're doing and what you're bringing, to the
Oh yeah.
community. I mean, if you just type in your name, there is so many videos about Hez Parfums, and they're all positive because I've literally
Yeah.
watched probably every last video that has your name attached
Yeah.
to it.
I
And
appreciate that.
yeah, and like it's all nothing but positivity. Like not even niche and designer brands have that much positivity, and
Yeah.
that's just real talk. Like you could take a brand like let's say Ralph Lauren. They have a love-hate relationship, with their fragrances. Everything from
Yeah.
Polo Blue, Polo Red, Safari, et cetera, et cetera. Now that they've released their latest one, I think it's Ralph's Club Elixir, that's taking
Oh
the world
yeah.
by storm. But that doesn't happen all the time
Hmm.
um, with his fragrances. That doesn't happen all the time. So the fact that you're getting positive reviews for every last one of your fragrances and they're selling out like that, I called it like hotcakes. It's just, I mean, it's unheard of. It's unheard of,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I mean, it's
like
a
a year.
blessing. Yeah, I know it's a blessing. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm surprised by it all the time because in my mind, I mean, I'm super grateful and
Mhm.
I don't want this to sound like I'm not, but it's like almost like it's not me in
Yeah.
some times, you know what I mean? Because I'm so new at this, and less than a year ago, I was not in this position. So now I'm like adjusting to the
Mhm. Mhm.
attention, and I love it. I'm super grateful for it, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is new. It takes me a little while to get comfortable, like on camera and things like that.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
getting used to it.
Yeah.
But again, I don't. that to sound like I'm not grateful for it, because this is the dream that I've had for years.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like you know, like you said, typing in, you know, your name and seeing all these videos and stuff, it's just feels so unreal, you know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
in this amount of time, you know,
Yeah.
that much content has come out. So yeah, I'm
Right.
really grateful. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, to be honest, man, it's like, and I'm gonna say this humbly, it's like when I search your name and I see all those videos, it almost makes me feel like a sense of accomplishment, like I'm there with you making these fragrances
Yeah.
together. Because I'm like, man, you know, for you to start off where you started and to be at the part where you're at now, it's like, you know, like I'm real big in spirituality. I'm real big in reading my Bible, things like that. And one thing they say, you rejoice with those who rejoice and you weep with those who weep. So this
Yeah.
is just a moment where I'm like, man, I'm gonna rejoice with my brother because he's
Yeah.
doing well. Shoot, that makes me feel like I'm doing well as well. And so
Yeah.
I just, you know, I just appreciate that, you know, because like you're grinding, you're making sure, even if one of these YouTube reviewers does not know my name, I'm gonna make sure by the time that I'm finished with them, they're gonna know me, they're gonna know my sense, and they're gonna be raving about it. And you do an
Yeah.
excellent job of that. So I'll let the fragrance
Yeah.
community and just the YouTube community know right now that this man right here, he's a workaholic and he's making sure that his name is out there. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody from your Cuba Nose to your, you know, Unaverage Joe. Shouts out if you're still in the room.
Yeah.
You know, fragged out, swagged out. You know, shout out to my brother Rico.
Yeah.
I mean, just everybody,
Yeah.
aromatics, and you know, just it's so many people that it's like, you know, Oda Erica and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name everybody because I'll be going on until,
Yeah.
you know, tomorrow morning. But it's
Yeah.
just like that is so amazing. And then everybody, especially the ladies, when you have these ladies reviewing your scents, it's like they'll grab a scent and they'll go, "Oh my god!" And that is the
Yeah.
best response when it comes
Oh
to
yeah.
fragrance, is a lady that smells it. Like literally, when I first let my wife smell Bourbon Street, it was literally to the point where she was like, "You have got to throw that on right now, like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
wait," you know. And it made me so happy because I'm like, man, this dude is really pleasing my wife, and when you please my wife, I'm good, you know.
Yeah.
I love it,
I
man.
spray on Bourbon Street. My wife says, "What do you think is about to happen here?"
Oh, yeah, it's that type of scent,
Get
you
out of
know.
here.
It's that type of scent. And the crazy part about it is,
Yeah.
you know, I'm glad you started off with Bourbon Street as your first scent because no matter what we talk about, we could talk about Blue Dog, we could talk about Big Easy Trop, we can talk about any of your other scents, but we're always going to go back to Bourbon Street.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
the perfect scent to start off with because
Yeah.
I always want to go back to it. I compare every scent to Bourbon Street that you make. When you made Hand Grenade, it has nothing in common, but I'm still comparing it to Bourbon Street because
Yeah.
Bourbon Street was literally that good. Like I just
Yeah.
literally went to the store and I bought a fragrance. It's a clone of um Leighton by Parfums de Marley. It smells just like it because I know what Parfums de Marley Leighton smells like. That kind of gives that Bourbon Street vibe. And
Hmm.
I smelt it, and then I literally went to Bourbon Street and was like, I'm still loving Bourbon Street. It's crazy,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm and Leighton is like that fragrance, you know, but you always go back to Bourbon Street. And so,
Yeah.
again, humbly speaking, I appreciate the mess out of Bourbon Street. I
Thank
just keep
you.
raving about
Yeah.
it. So,
Thank you so much. Yeah, I
yeah.
can tell you. Remember one of the first conversations that Mateo and I had. We were talking
Mhm.
about, you know, my vision for, you know, the future of Hez Parfums,
Yeah.
and you know, he was complimenting Bourbon Street, and I
Mhm.
told him, you know, my goal or my dream, and you know, I'm not sure that I could say that this has happened yet, but my vision is that Bourbon Street will be the the least desirable out of all of my fragrances. That, you know, it will be truly the starting point for what
Wow.
I'm able to produce, you know. So like,
And
and
how's
you
the
know, I
most?
don't, yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, I look at Bourbon Street as like a standard that I set for myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I do compare every fragrance that I make to Bourbon Street, not
Yeah.
in the sense of, you know, that they smell similar or or
Mm-hmm.
even that they match a style, because I like not sticking necessarily to a certain style. I mean, you do see some style in my fragrances. You know, you can kind of see like with the daiquiris and stuff, like my the way that I manage those types of fragrances. But I do like to do, you know, variety or things that people don't expect me to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
Blue Dog, for instance, you know, like, you know, I can make
Yeah.
a lot of fragrances that are very specific for a certain occasion, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody thinks, okay, but that's his thing. He's going to make fragrances, you know, that are specific, daiquiris,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I like to, you know, come kind of surprise people once in a while and say, oh, well, I also do these types of fragrances too. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
as I grow and expand, you know, I want to, you know, to kind of have that skill set where I'm not really locked into one style of fragrance, or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
doing certain, you know, types of fragrances, or, you know, using certain types of notes or anything like that. I want to be diverse and be able to do multiple things. So
Yeah.
you probably know, from watching Aromatics, that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
him and I are working on something right now together.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to say too much about it, but, you know, the idea of, you know, that type of collaboration is to, you know, to work with different styles and try
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
you know, to expand what, you know, what I'm doing currently. Because,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
my brand, I mean, Hez Parfums, you know, I named it after myself, and I didn't
Right.
do that to be, you know, like egotistical or something like that. I mean, the idea of it was that this is me that I'm putting into a bottle, and that's always been my vision. Is, you know, I'm
Yeah.
not going to say that it's strictly about New Orleans, because things like plum confecture and things like that, you know, it's more than just it's just somebody from New Orleans may not, you know, really relate to it. But when I tell you that it's coming from a personal place, you
Yeah.
know, that it's my story. And that's really what it is with all of these fragrances, is that even though it's New Orleans themed, it's these are, you know, my experiences in New Orleans. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I do have experiences outside of New Orleans, and I have experiences with other things that, you know, eventually I'd like to capture.
Mm-hmm.
But from
Mm-hmm.
the Hez Parfums line, you
Yeah.
know, it's based off of that. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, my goal is to expand and work with, you know, other fragrance houses, you know, to work with reviewers, to work, you know, not just at Hez Parfum. Not, you know, I
Yeah.
don't have to isolate myself to my own house and only focus on my own fragrances. You know, I like to, you know, extend myself and make myself available to other houses if they want to work with me. You
Yeah.
know, people that are learning perfuming, you know, I always try to offer myself for that as well, because, you know, I think it's awesome seeing people do what I'm doing. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
whatever stage they're at in that journey, I like to help wherever I can. I mean, I'm not like a
Mm-hmm.
master perfumer at this stage, but, you know, I do have a little bit of experience. So if I could share with somebody, then I'm happy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and then with other, like with reviewers and stuff, you know, the thing about reviewers, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for one, they, you know, they have the audience to kind of, you know, to help, you know, share your brand and stuff like that. That's one
Right.
thing. That's a
Yeah.
sales thing.
Yeah.
But the real benefit of collaborating with a reviewer is that these are people who have basically made a career out of smelling and critiquing fragrances.
Mm-hmm.
And I,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think like sometimes people forget about that when they hear about these reviewer collaborations, and they think like, why would, you know, why would they pick so and so to do a
Mm-hmm.
collaboration with? And, you know, it's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
whatever, they're a reviewer. But, you know, people forget
Mm-hmm.
that perfuming is about experimenting and about training your nose to learn notes, to, you know, to understand how notes come together to form, you know, fragrances. And
Mm-hmm.
reviewers are in, you know, in a position where they are dedicating themselves to sniffing
Right.
fragrances, critiquing fragrances constantly. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
some reviewers really do have quite a bit to offer as far as collaboration, because, you know, they may have even experienced more fragrances than a perfumer themselves. You know what I mean? So when they come and they say, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they're inspired by certain fragrances or whatever, then, you know, it really does help. So anyways, you know, I mean, just going back into what I was saying, I do,
Yeah.
you know, my vision is for Hez Parfums to be, you know, a diverse portfolio, but it is representing me. But beyond that, I want to, you know, I want to be able to, you know, to extend my skills, my talents,
Right.
learn more, you know, and also be available to do future projects outside of Hez Parfums. I think
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
y'all hear that, folks. So if anybody who makes perfumes want to hook up with Hez, man, feel free to
yep,
reach out, man. Like, I
absolutely.
mean, at the end of the
Even
day,
if it's
man,
not an official collaboration,
mhm,
I'm always happy to just talk perfuming. So
yeah,
if somebody
yeah,
is interested in blending and you just want to, you know, cut up a little bit or talk
mhm,
about, you know, certain things with notes, you know,
yeah,
I'm happy
yeah,
to do that also. So
yeah. Just like we're
yeah,
doing now, man. Just talking these fragrances. I do
yeah,
want to get into the next one, and then we can chat it up some more. I'm just randomly picking, and I got it in my hand now.
yeah.
Look, so guess we'll go with that since that's the first one I grabbed.
Blue Dog.
And like I
Yeah,
said before, if you guys want to know the history on the Blue Dog, I mean, you can always search it, but it's none
yeah,
better than just to go to Hez Parfum page himself and then see the commercial that he has there for Blue Dog. So if you go type in Hez Parfums on Instagram, there is a story of the origination of Blue Dog. What is this Blue Dog? Why do you see him everywhere in Louisiana? Because I mean, even when I'm in Baton Rouge and I go like downtown, I see the Blue Dog certain
oh
places.
yeah,
And I even had to educate myself, like, why is this Blue Dog everywhere? And I
yeah,
did. And then I was like, okay, cool. So
yeah.
let me pull up these notes right quick, and then we can go into that sniffing of Blue Dog. Okay, so Blue Dog, it opens up with some rosemary, some pink pepper, some ginger, bergamot, and grapefruit. In the mid, it is marine, ozone, lavender, lily of the valley, cardamom, and tonka bean. And then in the base, it's sandalwood, incense, vetiver, patchouli, ambroxan, and musk. So let me get this out. I'm going to do a little spray and I'm going to sniff. Let me do it like this. All right, there we go. 2 sprays on the hand, and I'm already getting it in the air. Oh yeah. It's like how can I explain it? It's like taking the DNA of a blue fragrance and just making it more sexy, you know,
Mhm.
I should say, because you have your typical blue fragrances like your Versace Pour Homes, your, YSLYs, things like that. And to me, because I have those fragrances, and to me, with those fragrances, they can kind of come bland after a while.
Mhm.
I should say that because why by YSL, you're gonna know when somebody sprays that on their body because everybody wears it.
Yeah,
And even the flankers, it's like they're good, but at the same time, you're just gonna know it. You know,
yeah, recognizable.
yeah,
Yep.
when somebody wears a Versace, Pour Homme or even Dylan Blue, it's like you're gonna know they have that on because everybody wears it. Sauvage, things like that. But I will tell you, when you wear Blue Dog, nobody's gonna know that you have Blue Dog on, even when it becomes, I'm not gonna say if, even when it becomes widely popular. It's just they're not gonna
Yeah,
do it because it's that type of blue fragrance that puts a little twist to the blue DNA. I mean, like if you look at it, you have things in there, um, like rosemary, for example, that stuck out to me. Um,
yeah,
you know, um, the lily of the valley. I mean, a lot of people do use lily of the valley, but
yeah.
really in blue fragrances. Mainly, you have your marine notes in your blue fragrances. Your sometimes your ozonic notes. You might put a little ambroxan in there, things like
Mhm.
that. But the fact
Yeah,
that you have, like, for example, your cardamom, that makes it like you said when you was releasing this for your fall collection. I'm like, okay, Blue Dog sounds like a blue fragrance. What's going to make it in that fall? Then I look at the notes and I
yeah.
see, okay, you have tonka bean, you have cardamom, you have some incense, and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I see how this can be suitable for the colder weather. but at the same
Yeah.
time, you have your ozone, your marine notes, even your grapefruit to kind of make it
Hmm.
still have that blue DNA. So you're pushing the
Yeah.
blue DNA more into the fall, which who does that?
Yeah.
You
Yep.
can't wear your Versace Pour Hommes in the fall, or your even going to, like I said, your Y by YSLs, things like that, or
Yeah.
fragrances like that. You can't really wear them in the fall. I mean, you can, because you can wear any fragrance when, but from a standpoint of like fragrance reviewers and perfumers, they don't expect you to, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
so it's a beautiful fragrance, man. And
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
man, I know
Yeah, I
you
got
did tell me before that this one was going to be the kind of head turner, and
yeah.
I see where you're coming from with that, because it did turn my head.
Yeah.
Like, I had to sniff it, and then I had to go back and sniff it again
Yeah.
because I was like,
Yep.
something's different about this fragrance.
And
And
one of the things I've been telling people, especially people
mhm,
that are doing reviews, because it's very common to do first impressions, and
yeah,
first impressions is typically the top note. I mean, some people do give it a little time to dry down, and they come back
yeah,
and kind
yeah,
of. But the thing about Blue Dog is that an hour after spraying it is not really going to be the dry down for Blue Dog. You're going to still be somewhere towards the top in the mid. And
mhm,
the dry down is going to be so much different than where
mhm,
you're at 1 hour after spraying it. So it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
a first impression of Hurricane. I mean, you can get a pretty good impression from Hurricane from initial spray to like maybe an hour, and you can kind of see like the strength, the projection, performance, things like that. If it's
mhm,
starting to drop off, but for the most part, it's not going to transition so tremendously from opening to dry down that you have to experience it to make a judgment call on what it'll be.
mhm,
With Blue Dog, on the other hand, like I encourage everybody before you really make a fight, even if you love it on on the initial spray,
mhm,
to still wear it and pay attention as you go through the dry down, because
mhm,
the idea of Blue Dog was to be very intentionally extreme transitional fragrance. So it's,
yeah,
I wanted it to start off over here and end up way over there, just
yeah, yeah,
like the transition of a man turning into a werewolf. So the whole theme here is basically, based on the Blue Dog and the whole backstory of the Blue Dog,
mhm,
transitioning and having such an extreme, from the beginning of the story to the end, having such an
mhm,
extreme, a storyline. With
mhm,
that, I wanted the fragrance to also be like that, where you spray it on, and then as you go through it, you're basically experiencing, new things all the way through, all the way until the far dry down. I wear it like I sprayed it yesterday. I woke up this
mhm,
morning, and it was right at the very end of the life cycle,
mhm,
but I still love it. I mean, it's like one of those
yeah,
things
yeah,
that it still smells so captivating even at that stage. It's not just pleasant like most dry downs are, but it's like, wow,
mhm,
even by itself that would be awesome. That's cool. So what I encourage everybody is, on this particular fragrance, really, explore with it. Wear
mhm,
it in the cold weather, wear it in the warm weather, and you'll see that you're going to get a totally different experience from those two situations.
right,
Wear it in the daytime compared to wearing it at night, and you'll feel differently about it, because the
mhm,
freshness is going to be enough to give you a daytime kind of, a very appropriate daytime fragrance. But
yeah, yeah,
the incense and the amber and all that stuff that's in it really actually work very well at nighttime too for that situation. So, date nights, things
exactly,
like that,
exactly,
is going to be alluring. So, yeah, I mean, I wanted Blue Dog to surprise people
yeah,
all the way through, and with that, I wanted to kind of flex my
yeah,
my abilities a little bit, just to show like what I could do with a really complex fragrance blend. Because I mean, I
yeah,
list out a bunch of notes on the website, but honestly, there is a lot of things that went into Blue Dog.
yeah,
That it's too
yeah,
much. Like it's just too much to list it all.
right,
Into one note breakdown.
right, right,
But it's that complexity that allows it to transition that way.
mhm, mhm,
And yeah, I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of the way that
yeah.
it came out. So.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm definitely proud of the fragrance myself. One thing you mentioned, that I like is what you said is wear it in the winter, wear it in the fall, but also wear it in your warmer months, and then in the
Hmm.
daytime and nighttime as well. Because and that's kind of like piggybacking off of what I said when I said at the end of the day it's a blue fragrance, but it's a blue fragrance that you can wear in the cooler weather as well. So
Yeah,
just because I said you can wear it in the cooler weather, it's still a blue fragrance, so you can still wear it in that warmer weather. And like you said, it takes on a different experience,
hmm,
um, because then those notes that's going to make it a blue fragrance are going to stick out more because
yeah,
I said it's a blue fragrance, and you said that the more you wear it, it takes on a different character, and that's why I keep.
hmm,
If you notice, I'm smelling it
yeah,
every few seconds. I'm going back doing this because
yeah.
I can't get my nose off of it because it's that good of a fragrance.
Yeah, and
And
every time you go in, it's like just slightly different. You're like, wait a
yeah,
second,
yeah,
and that's what when when you look at the top notes
mhm,
I mean, it's like this all the way through, but the top notes is where you could see it. Rosemary, citrus, peppers, all these different things. So some of these things react way more in the high heat. The
mhm,
citrus, things
mhm.
like that are gonna really pop. The pepper, pink pepper, things like that are really gonna pop. But
Exactly.
the colder the weather is, the less that those notes are going to really push out as hard. So
Yeah,
in the cold weather, you're going to have a different top experience, really.
right.
But
You
it's
might smell
still
more
going to be a
cardamom or
rich,
something.
yeah, it's still going to be very rich. And that,
Mhm.
that's where the beauty of it comes in, is that it's appropriate for warm weather, cold weather, but and it's versatile. You can wear
Yeah,
it in those different occasions, but it's not going to smell, just like the same fragrance in those occasions.
mhm.
It's almost like having multiple fragrances. And when you wear it, out in those occasions, then you'll get surprised each time. Like, wow,
Right.
this is different here. So, and
Yeah.
that's completely intentional. That's what we wanted for Blue Dog. Just like the legend, we wanted it to
Mhm.
be shifting and transforming.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and that's beautiful, man. Like, I love that because like even as I'm smelling it now, it's like I'm getting like it's really cold in my house right now because I have a smart thermostat and it has a mind of its own. So right now it just wants to be cold.
yeah,
So
yeah,
and that's perfect because now like the fact that it's like freezing in here, I'm getting some of those notes that it's supposed to smell like when it's cold. I'm getting more of that. I'm getting heavy on the tonka bean, and the cardamom, and that is beautiful. That cardamom and tonka bean mixture. Oh my goodness. And it's kind of I can kind of get it a little bit spicy from that incense too. And that is
yeah,
just, man, that is beautiful. Like,
yeah,
whew, like, and so obviously I'm about to say Facebook. Obviously the YouTube fam knows I like this better than Hurricane because I'm smelling
yeah,
it like over. I haven't even went back to Hurricane since I've sprayed
yeah.
this, but I'm going to right now. Oh, you know what? Now that I'm smelling Hurricane again, I'm getting those woody notes now.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's still blending perfectly with the fruity notes. So
Yeah,
good job on that because it's giving it a
yeah,
little twist to where it's like I still smell the drink, but at the same time that sandalwood is coming in, and
yeah.
man,
Now
that
it's
is
the drink
nice.
spilled on the table.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, as far as rating this one, I have to rate it higher. I think I rated the other one at 8.5, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm. Yeah.
Whew. This one, of course, is getting a 9. Like this is getting,
Thank you.
yeah, this is getting a 9 because I absolutely love it. Um,
Yeah.
and I will tell the community now too. The more that you smell it, the better that it gets. Like if you think
Yeah.
it smells good when you first spray it, oh my goodness, let it dry
Yeah.
down. Just let it dry down because I did spray it previously and I let it dry down even like 30 minutes to an hour, and then I sniffed again and I
Yeah.
was like, it smelled better. Then another hour passed, it smelled even better. And you're right,
Yeah.
it does take a mind of its own, just like the legend behind the Blue Dog.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did it, but congratulations. I will just
Thank
clap
you.
because
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
this is
It was
just
it
wow.
was a fun one to make because it was, I mean, it's funny because when somebody sniffs these, they would say, oh,
Mhm.
this is probably the easiest reach fragrance because it's blue, has that
Yeah,
blue
yeah,
edge to it. So
absolutely.
it's versatile. But, when it comes to blue fragrances, it's like they're actually more complex to make.
Yeah.
To make a fragrance that's so versatile
Mhm.
is not easy. I mean, it's much
Yeah.
easier to make a very specific thing, So
Mhm.
like blue fragrances are actually challenging to make.
Mhm.
And, the fact that they're easy to wear isn't necessarily a reflection on, how easy they are
How
to make.
complicated.
Yeah, they're much more complicated because they
Yeah.
have to be versatile in that way. But,
Right. Right.
but
Wow.
with this, yeah, I enjoyed it because of the challenge behind it, because I didn't want it to just be a blue fragrance. I had this whole bigger
Mhm.
thing in mind. So, it was fun just to try and then to actually, achieve it. It's
Mhm.
amazing. It's just like
Yeah.
anything, when you do something, you have to challenge yourself more and
Exactly.
more, or else it becomes stale. And,
Mhm.
this is one of these things where, I had a vision in mind. It was a little bit
Mhm.
more than what I've done so far.
Mhm.
And the execution came out, just more than what I expected. So I'm really,
Mhm.
really happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you just educated me saying that a blue fragrance might be easy to wear, but not easy to make. That that
Yeah.
that sounds like a motto. Easy to wear, but not easy to make. Wow.
Yeah, it's completely reverse. I mean, I could,
Yeah, yeah.
Bourbon Street
So
is an easier fragrance to make than a blue fragrance
I would
because,
have never known that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
The complexity
yeah. And
of
when you're,
Bourbon Street is just like
yeah,
you would never think that. But at the end of the day, now that I'm getting my nose more and more on Blue Dog, I can see what you mean by that because the complexity of Blue Dog obviously is way more complex than Bourbon Street,
yeah, yeah,
because like you said, it takes a mind of its own. And even the more I smell it in this short period of time, it's like I still get the Blue Dog DNA, but at the
hmm,
same time, it's like it's almost like you said, like a man that turned into a werewolf. It's still the same person, but it's just different forms. So
yeah,
it's like it's still Blue Dog, but it's different forms of Blue Dog. And
yeah,
like if people know, if people ever been in the French Quarters, you know that Blue Dog is the famous painting, but there's also a red dog, green dog, yellow dog.
yeah,
It's taking that different forms.
yeah,
Which is like it's like you can like let's say I was going somewhere and I knew I was going to be there a long period of time. Blue Dog might be the fragrance I wear without having to bring 3 or 4 or 5 different fragrances because people will say, "Oh, what did you go to the bathroom and respray?
yeah,
Is this the same
yeah,
fragrance? Wow,
yeah,
well, it's smelling a little different after a few hours." Yeah, so if people don't want to spend a lot of money on fragrances, buy Blue Dog, and you'll have
yeah,
about 3 or 4 fragrances in one.
yeah. That's right. Yeah,
So
it's
hey,
gonna change with the time of the day. That's it.
right. But
Yeah.
I will say that does not mean only buy Blue Dog. Like buy some other fragrances
Yeah.
too. I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah. I mean,
but,
there's times for every, like, one of the things that I remember, like, early on, when I was just a collector,
mhm.
you get a fragrance that you really love. And this is the problem with all collectors, really, is none of us are satisfied with just a single fragrance of any sort.
Yeah.
And it just grows and grows. But you could take a fragrance that you absolutely love, and anything can be overdone. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So, like, most of us that are fragrance enthusiasts, we recognize that, certain fragrances that we absolutely love, we don't want to ruin that for ourselves. You know what I mean? Like angel share, for instance, people that love angel share. Could
Yes.
you imagine wearing angel share every single day? It's going to lose its magic. You know what I
No.
mean? So,
No.
like, you wear angel share when the time is right and you
Yeah.
appreciate it. You know what I mean? When you spray it
Yeah.
on, you appreciate it.
Right.
So,
Right.
that's kind of the thing. So, like, this is a versatile fragrance, and it's meant to be, used more than, most fragrances.
Mhm, mhm.
But, at the same time, too much of anything can turn it not so great. So,
Exactly.
I hope that everybody, as much as you may like any particular fragrance, that you do
Mhm.
still explore new things and continue
Yeah.
because even with this, fragrance, so you love a fragrance, you
Mhm.
explore more fragrances. When you come
Mhm.
back to this, you'll appreciate it even more
Oh
because,
yeah.
you get,
Yes.
the exposure, you get refreshed, and then you come back and through a new mindset and
Mhm.
kind of experience it again. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that about coming back to a fragrance after you haven't worn in a while, because that just happened to me. I just made a short on YouTube, and I was showing two clones of Red Tobacco by Mancera, and I was showing the two clones, and one of the clones haven't worn it in forever, and the other one I got it like a few weeks ago, and so I went and smelt the first one, and I was like, oh, this smells so good because I haven't worn it in so long, so I was appreciating it all over again.
Hmm.
And even with that same point, there's fragrances I've worn too much, and when I first sprayed it, my wife is like, oh, that smells so good. Then she's like, oh, you're wearing that a little too much. It's kind of like it doesn't
Yeah.
even smell good anymore because I'm so like I just want to smell something else on you.
Yeah.
So it pays to wear a fragrance, and then after you wear it, a few times, stop wearing it, and then
Yeah.
do something else in your collection, come back to that, and then people will have a love for it all over
Oh,
again, and maybe
yeah.
even more than the first time you wore it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
How many of us have a half-used bottle of Blue de Chanel in our closet? You go through that half a
Exactly.
bottle so fast, and then the second half not so fast. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
most people, they get it, they love it, they wear it like all the
mhm,
time. But
yeah,
I don't see a whole lot of people making it all the way through the bottle. Usually halfway through, and then
exactly,
they've had enough Blue de Chanel for a little while.
right. And
So,
even going
you
back
don't want to do
to,
that, you know what I mean? Because you
uh-huh,
want to enjoy it. The
yeah,
magic that you have for fragrance
absolutely,
could stay there, but you don't want to play it out, you don't want to overdo it.
exactly.
So,
And I think
yeah.
that's why us as collectors, because I know that you make fragrances, but I know you collect fragrances as well. That's why we have so many in our collection, because I tell people I never want to smell the same in 1 week. Like
Yep.
I'm trying to alternate to where I don't smell the same. Now I might smell similar because I may have a fragrance that's inspired by Creed Aventus and another fragrance that's inspired by Creed Aventus, but one may be heavy on the smokiness, another one
Yeah.
may be
Yeah.
heavy on, like, let's say oak moss or patchouli or something like that. So it's more earthy side because
Hmm.
Creed Aventus takes on so many different batches and they all smell different.
Yeah.
So, and even with the angel share, like I have angel share, I have fragrances that are inspired by angel share, and angel share is one of those fragrances that when I'm out with my wife, that might be one of those times I put on angel share, but I can't
Hmm.
do it every date night because then she's
Yeah.
that's all you
Not
smell like
special
because your
anymore.
father's angel share,
Yeah. It's enough
So
already. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Even though angel share is literally one of my favorite scent
Yeah.
profiles, because shout outs to Killian Hennessy. I'm just
Oh,
letting you know,
yeah.
man. If you ever see this video, I don't know if you will, but I appreciate Angel's Hair and I appreciate Apple
Yeah.
Brandy on the Rocks as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. They're great.
and I'm
Yeah. Those
saying
are
that,
fantastic.
I'm saying that because he also does an emphasis on boozy fragrances because
Hmm.
he's part of the Hennessy family. So
Yeah.
I'm saying that also kind of as a double shout out to you as well, in that same thing that all your fragrances kind of have a boozy note in there.
Yeah.
So that's
When I
also
talked about being open to
shout
collab with people, I was really dropping hints for Killian.
out. For real. Like,
Call me
hey
Killian.
man, we could do a
Yeah.
we could combine two things to be like
Bourbon
a
Street on the rocks,
straight.
come
I
on.
was just thinking like straight to Bourbon Street or something like that,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
I don't know,
Devil
smoking hand grenade or
devil
something like
share.
that.
Yeah,
You know, like I don't
I
know,
don't know.
Angel
Yeah.
Beignet or something. I don't know, man, something.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are just so like even speaking of like doing like collaborations, I remember in a video that I think me and you were commenting on somebody's live. I think it might have even been yesterday when you was on live with DJ Kicks Jr. Shout outs to him. That's another brother from
Yeah,
another
big shout
mother.
out to Dedrick. Yep.
But somebody was like, "Hey, put some oud in Bourbon Street," and I was and I commented like, "Man, I already do that because I have oud. Like I have fragrance oils myself because I experiment myself because I want to make a fragrance myself." And I literally thought of that, and I was like, "If you ever make a flanker to Bourbon Street, putting some oud in there is just amazing." Like I literally did that one time with 2 fragrances. I added oud to it, and I turned heads, and it was Bourbon Street and the new Ralph's Club Elixir. And I'll tell you a story about Bourbon Street and oud. I was literally in the grocery store, and I don't think I've ever even said this on anywhere, but I was in a grocery store. I said it with my Ralph's Club Elixir, but I never said it with Bourbon Street, so this is a exclusive. I was in the grocery store, and I had it on. I had just a little bit of oud, but I had a lot of Bourbon Street on. And this is like, it was super hot. So I don't even know why I wore it because it's not really the fragrance that you wear when it's hot, but I love Bourbon Street so much. I just wanted to put it on. So I went inside the grocery store and it was cold. So then Bourbon Street started projecting a little better because it was cold. A girl literally walked from one side to like the other, came up to me and said, "What are you wearing? Because it is strong in the best way possible." And I told her what it was. And I told her, I said, "But you got to add a little bit of oud to it." And she didn't know really what oud was or anything. I kind of just basically explained to her it's a woody note that can be delicious smelling, or it can smell like pure garbage, depending on what food you have. And she was like, "Oh my God, that smells so good. I just wanted to let you know that." And I was like, "I appreciate it." And then, I went about my business. But I'm telling you, man, that might be something, because let's get compliments, So
I have a bottle of Bourbon Street oud actually that I made for myself.
For real?
Using a Samrat oud, which is really nice. It's a really nice oud.
I love it. Like I literally, I thought I had my bottle of oud on the table. No, I don't. It's somewhere. I think it might be on my kitchen counter. I'm looking, but I've been doing a little cleaning, so I may have put it back with all the rest of my fragrances. But it just smells so good. I mix a lot of fragrance. Like Dylan Blue is another head technique that I do. I mix that with oud, and people go crazy. So, but let's get to the I'm gonna get to the last fragrance. I think I may have saved the best for last based on the reviews I've seen on YouTube.
So you haven't smelled this one yet?
A little bit, but I haven't really got my nose fully on it to like smell the top, mid, and dry down. And
I'm excited to see your reaction here.
Yeah, I kind of just did like this a little bit and was like, ooh, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, you got it, Fred.
So let's get this.
This is one of these fragrances where I bottle it. It's all sealed up tight, no leakage. Hasn't been sprayed ever, and I can still smell it from the, just going like this.
That's what I'm noticing right now. Like I'm smelling it, and it's like I literally, when I first smelt it, I shook the bottle because I was like, "Is it leaking?" And I did like that, and I'm like, "Okay, so it's not leaking." Okay.
This type of smell just can't be concealed. That's it.
It's
coming out.
And I tell you one thing, when I first started doing fragrance reviews, a guy told me, I can't even remember who he was. Shout out to whoever he was. But he said that if you want to know if a fragrance is strong or not, smell it through the atomizer. If you can't smell it through the atomizer, it might not be that strong. But if you can smell it through the atomizer, that's a beast mode of a fragrance. This can be a beast mode of a fragrance. So let me pull up those notes right quick, and then I'll spray some on myself and see, because I'm about to go to Olive Garden with my wife, and I want to see which fragrance I'm going to spray on. I don't know if it's going to be Blue Dog or...
You spray this and go to Olive Garden, they're going to leave Olive Garden and go to the cheesecake factory or something like that.
Exactly.
They need some dessert.
I know, right? Are they going to ask for dessert there? Like,
you
guys have dessert? Okay, so this one, top notes, which first off, Does anyone in the comments know of a fragrance that has a note of banana? Anybody? Like literally. And I'm not saying you have to answer that right now. You can always answer that later, but kind of a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
But that was my first time seeing the note of banana in a fragrance.
Yeah.
And but it has top notes of banana and lemon, mid notes of cinnamon, caramel, and chocolate, and then base notes of brown sugar, bread. That's another note. I was like, does anybody know of a fragrance that has bread in it? I was like, and then I started researching the fragrance on YouTube, and most people were saying that. They was like, who has put bread as
Yeah. If they make a top list of bread fragrances, I got this.
Yeah,
I'm at the top of that list. I'm the only one on it.
Yeah. And then last two notes in the base is vanilla and sandalwood, which I noticed that you love sandalwood because almost every
I do, yeah.
sandalwood.
I do love sandalwood, yeah.
But that's a good thing because I love sandalwood as well. And then I love amber, and I noticed that you did say in Blue Dog that there's amber in it, and that's one of those notes that you didn't list on the site. So
yeah,
anybody loves amber notes, Blue Dog. And the crazy part about it is when you said it, I didn't say anything, but I knew there was amber in it because amber has become one of my favorite notes. I can just smell amber like that. Like knew amber was in there without even saying anything. But let me get this one sprayed. Enough talking. I wanna smell this. My goodness. I want to smell it on skin. All right, 2 good sprays. If you heard 3, that's because the first one didn't really put out any juice. But let's get it. Oh my goodness. And the reason I say that is because this smells like one of my favorite candies. And let me see if you know what candy that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is this a New Orleans candy?
The type of candy can be made in New Orleans, but it's a worldwide known candy. But I'm gonna let the say it. It smells like banana Laffy Taffy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It smells like banana Laffy Taffy. I know there's places in New Orleans that make taffy candies.
Yeah.
But it smells, and that is my probably top 5 favorite candies is banana.
Oh, yeah.
Not Laffy Taffy, because I don't like the rest of the flavors. That's why I'm saying they made a bag of just banana flavored. But yeah,
I like the cheesy jokes.
Yeah,
I've always been a big fan of the cheesy jokes they include on the Laffy Taffy.
Oh yeah,
I like to memorize them, and pretend like I made them up. The cheesy jokes, everybody's heard a million times.
Yep. They said you go into a bathroom. They say you go into a bathroom as an American. You walk out as an American, but what are you when you're in the bathroom? European.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's my cheesy joke for the night.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to tell you one thing, and I'm going to say this. I can literally take all of these fragrances right here. I have 3 right here. I have Hand Grenade, I have Hurricane, and I have Blue Dog. And I can just put these down because this already is my favorite out of the new releases. Like hands down. That's
awesome.
Like, it doesn't take much to let you know that this is my favorite out of the bunch.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, I'm not throwing these away. No. Because of how good this smells. And I'm not saying that because I did watch the other people's reactions and they had the same reaction. I'm saying it because now that I'm really smelling it on skin, it is that good. Like,
now you know why they had those reactions.
Now I know why they had those reactions. Like, this is really that good. Like, and I think what it is the reason why people have reactions to these type of fragrances is because your most realistic fragrances kind of have that reaction of, I've never smelled nothing like it. And the reason I say that is because between this, Hand Grenade, and Cafe Beignet, to me, that's your 3 most realistic fragrances because this smells exactly like banana bread. Cafe Beignet smells exactly like Cafe Du Monde, and Hand Grenade smells exactly like a hand grenade. And when I look at people's reaction to those 3 fragrances, especially Dedrick Hicks Jr., when he smelled Cafe Beignet for the first time in that video, he was like,
"Oh yeah,
what? This actually smells like a beignet." And I'm trying to mimic his voice. He's like, "This smells exactly like a beignet." And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, still, I don't know how you captivate those scents, but good job. But this right here, this makes me want to get the ingredients to make banana bread and just bake some banana bread because I love to cook from scratch. And I'm literally thinking about just making a banana bread because I do love banana bread. I've never made it. And this has inspiring me to say, should I make a banana bread?
Yeah. Straight out the oven. That's what I mean.
And then crazy part about it is it's like these scents are so realistic that I don't want to compare this to other scents. I want to compare this to the actual food. Like I want to buy some banana bread and say, does this really smell that much like banana bread? Like literally, I haven't been to Cafe Du Monde in forever, but next time I go to Cafe Du Monde, even last time when I went to New Orleans, we didn't get a chance to go. But I'm going to literally bring Cafe Beignet with me just to compare. Like next time I go to New Orleans, I'm going to bring Hand Grenade and compare it. I'm going to bring those scents and I'm going to compare it. Like literally, I kid you not, I went to New Orleans Daiquiri and got a 190 octane just to compare it. Like I don't even care if it gets drinking or not. I just want to compare it. And literally, I was like, this dude really did a good job of, making those scents smell like it was just, it's just crazy, I think this is the one that I'm going to throw on tonight because it's just, wow. It is just crazy. I'm going to throw this on because I need to wear Blue Dog whenever I have more time to wear it. Like pretty much all day to have it. Because it's one of those scents where it's going to change so much. And then by the time that it actually starts really changing, I'm probably going to be asleep. So I'm going to wear banana bread because this is just amazing. I'm not even going to go into what I'm smelling. I just really, I just smell banana bread. And this one right here, I mean, this, I was going to say 9.5. But I got to give it like a 9.8, like literally, I'm going to give it more than that because this one is just, oh man. Now I can compare this with the rest because I have all of your scents so far. As far as every last scent, this is going up there with Bourbon Street. Like Bourbon Street is still my favorite, but this right here is running a close second to Bourbon Street. Like, you heard it here, folks. This is second to Bourbon Street. If you smell Bourbon Street, this is a second to Bourbon Street. This is literally, like, this is in the category of like, I have a bunch of gourmand scents in my collection. And this is up there as far as like my top gourmand scents. Like when I start, like when I get into like when it really gets cold and I start wearing my gourmand scents, I did make a top 10 gourmand scent video a long time ago. I'm gonna have to like make another gourmand scent video and put this in there as this and Cafe Beignet. I'm gonna put it in there as far as top gourmand scents. But
I appreciate it.
But this here, oh my goodness, like man, like it's one of those things where it captivates your nose and like literally, like as I talk, it's overpowering every other scent I've sprayed. Like, all I smell now is banana bread. That's all I smell. And,
it'll fill the room. It's it really projects.
It is a room filler. Like it may be an eau de parfum concentration, but this may be like projecting like an extrait. Like it's literally, oh my goodness, I am literally gonna wash off every other scent and just spray this post points. And
now once you get a little bit of time with this and you know, after you've experienced it on its own and you're ready to start playing with it, give it a try layering it with Hurricane, except do like 3 sprays of banana to
Yeah.
1 spray of hurricane,
You know
and
what?
you're gonna see something pretty nice. That just the light cherry on top of the
Yeah.
banana is really
You
nice.
know what? Since we're on camera right now, and I do have like 2 and I guess 2.5 sprays of banana bread right now,
Yeah,
I'm going to actually spray 1 spray of hurricane.
yeah,
Just to
yeah.
give
You
you
have to go light
two.
because the cherry can kind of overpower,
Yeah, I'm
but
not gonna spray it as close, but I'm
yeah,
gonna give it a light little spray. All right, there we go. I don't know if anybody even heard that it was so light,
yeah.
but I saw the juice come out and I smelled the juice. So let me give it some time to kind of mix in with banana bread and let's see what we get. Man. You have a nose for knowing what to do with fragrances, brother. That is wow.
Yeah,
It's like wow. It's like taking a piece of banana bread and then having a cherry pie right there, and then just
yeah,
mixing the two. That I'm gonna let you guys know for the people that are watching. If you get both, that's a good layering combination. If you like, let's say one day you're wearing Hurricane, the next day you're wearing Banana Bread, and you love both fragrances, but you don't want to be redundant and say, I'm gonna wear Hurricane again for the 3rd day in a row. I'm gonna wear Banana Bread Banshee again for the 3rd day in a row. Combine them.
yep.
Combine them.
Yeah, they do nice. Yeah. The other combination that was actually uh, given to me by Claudia, you know, Claudia Nairi. She's great. Also, she's an
Yeah,
awesome person. Big
yeah.
shout out to Claudia. But she recommended layering the banana bread with Bourbon Street, and it is
Right.
really nice. Actually, it's really nice. I didn't even think to do it, but yeah, it comes off.
Okay. So you have me doing another one. Let's do
Yeah.
it. Let me, well, actually give me a second because I have to go get Bourbon Street. I know, and before
Uh,
I leave and go get it, I remember I forget who said it, and but I know I had raved about it too. But they had said layer Bourbon Street with Cafe Beignet,
oh yeah.
which I did that, and that just blew. Like if I had a hat on, my head just flew.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
crazy. So I'm going to
Yep.
see if this is a better combination. It's a better Bourbon Street combination with banana bread, and I
Yeah.
almost can sense it in my nose of what it smells like because they kind of both fit the same like scenario of when I would wear it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
let me go
So
get
with
it.
this combo, you're gonna get almost like the
Uh-huh.
apple pie banana,
Ooh,
combo
man.
where like before it was like cherry and banana bread. This is more like apple pie and banana bread mixed together.
And before I leave,
Yeah.
soon as you said apple pie, the first thing I was thinking of is Boss Bottle or Boss Number Six.
Yeah.
If you want to say it. I do have that fragrance, and I might save that for another video. Do a comparison with Boss Bottle.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna do it now. So if y'all want to see that, y'all gonna have to see that another time. But let me go get it, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
those two.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah, another layering combo that works pretty well is Bourbon Street and Plum Confecture. These two go really well together. The tobacco, because Bourbon Street has tobacco, but it's not as heavy. These two complement each other quite well.
Okay, so do I? I guess I have to come right back because I guess I gotta go get pumpkin fixture too. Do that.
Yeah. Yeah, big shout out to Claudia. She knows her stuff. I didn't even think to layer these two, and they are really nice together. See some other combinations. These two combine really well together. Hand Grenade and Big Easy Tropical. They both have a little bit of a tropical vibe going on, so they do work well together as a combo as well.
Okay, I'm back. I really do not know where my plum confecture is. I know I have it here, but
Yeah, that's all right.
I went on vacation.
Yeah, try
Vacation.
it
I
though.
literally bought all of your fragrances with me because, hey, they're TSA approved. So
Yeah, yeah, really, they're right size in it.
yeah, so I literally probably it's still in my suitcase or something. I got every last fragrance, but plum confecture. I'm like, maybe that one fell out the box or something, so
Oh
I'll
yeah,
eventually get it.
yeah.
But you know, they speaking of TSA, I heard rumors that they might do away with that whole ban on like
Oh
fragrance
yeah,
in your
they
carry-on.
should. Yeah,
Yeah, because like all they have to do is look at it. I mean, hey, I'll tell them spray a couple of sprays on your body. Know it's a
yeah,
perfume.
really. Yeah,
Um, Give it back to me because I have put fragrances in my suitcase, checked it in, and then when I got to my destination, they were damaged. So
yeah,
I like to have my fragrances on me, and I
yeah,
don't like to,
exactly.
like I literally when I went on vacation, I packed your fragrances and I packed a few bottles. I put it in a box, like I had a box. Matter of fact, it might have been a box that when you had sent me the fragrances, I had put all my fragrances in that box. I had some bubble wrap, everything, had it taped up, and literally whoever was working TSA opened the box and then didn't. I don't care that you opened it because you want
Yeah,
to smell good, spray a couple of sprays.
yeah, really. Yeah, yeah.
But
Enjoy yourself.
go get some tape and tape it back up
Yeah,
just like you saw it. And my bottles were all over my suitcase. Luckily, none of them got damaged, but it's
yeah,
the principle of the matter. What if they did? Then I would have to call
yeah,
them and they would have to give me money and refund me, and then I have to rebuy. I don't want to do all that. So,
yeah,
yeah. So I try to tell people like, hey, I have fragile items in here, but they don't listen.
yeah,
So yeah, as far as that layering combo, you said with bourbon
yeah.
and
Bourbon Street and banana bread. Yeah.
yeah, so let me do that one.
And
Or
this
have,
is gonna be, much warmer, of course, than with the cherry.
yeah. So I haven't sprayed anything here. So let's give me a good spray of Bourbon Street. All right. Got me one good spray of Bourbon Street. And then I'm gonna do one good spray of banana bread. There we go. Oop, I think I might have did a bigger spray of banana bread than bourbon. So let's do
That's all right.
another bourbon spray. All right. So it won't be overpowering because banana bread is
Yeah.
really strong.
Oh yeah.
It's strong, but it's not that type of scent where it's like a, let's say like I was talking about red tobacco a while back. Red tobacco is strong, but then it's a powerful scent profile. So then if you
Yeah.
spray too much of it, you're gonna offend people. This is a strong fragrance, but it doesn't matter how much you spray because it's not a powerful scent profile
Yeah.
because it smells like banana bread.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about that you made a fragrance that's strong, but you can still spray as many sprays as you want.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not gonna become cloying, even though you would think like with the banana, especially like sweet banana, like there's a potential for it to be cloying. I've
Mhm.
actually, when I made it, it was still, it still is now, but over 100 degrees here in Houston every single day. And I
Yep,
was
same here.
testing it, I mean, that's part of the process is that you make a fragrance, you have to basically wear it all the time, you just test it constantly.
Mhm.
So I was wearing it, like kind of assuming that it would not really be appropriate for high heat, but I
Yeah,
needed to see like what it would be. And surprisingly, in the high heat, it wasn't cloying at all. It was actually still pretty decent. I think the opening, like when you first few minutes of it, if
mhm.
you're in high heat, when you spray it, maybe it'll be a little bit too much with the banana. But
Mhm.
within minutes, it becomes, the type of fragrance that can actually tolerate some heat and not, become too sweet or too
Yeah,
much, headache inducing. So I was surprised by that actually. It did well. Yeah.
yeah. Now, you seen me. I was sniffing it a few times. I not 100% sure yet, but this may be the best layering combination that has either you've recommended or somebody else has recommended.
Yeah.
This may be my favorite
Yeah, I
combination.
have to give credit to Claudia on this one. I didn't think
Yeah,
to do it.
yeah.
She mentioned that she was wearing Bourbon Street whenever she got the banana bread Banshee in the mail. And,
Ah,
she just kind of sprayed it, like she had it on one arm, she was already wearing Bourbon Street, and then she sprayed it on the other arm. And then just in the air, she was like, well, what's going on here? Like, is it, she loved it, but she couldn't tell, like, is it just the banana that, that I'm experiencing, or is it a combo? And she said, after she tried, some testing, she realized that the layering is actually really nice.
yeah,
So,
that's kind
yeah,
of the vibe I'm getting too. Because like when I sniff it, I'm still overpowered by the banana, of course,
yeah,
but a lot of those notes of Bourbon Street slowly creeps in. Right when I'm
yeah,
like about to move my arm away, I kind of get those notes from Bourbon Street, and that is
yeah.
just, man, the C odds on that is going to be
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
You
I feel
know,
like it pulls the chocolate out a little bit more in the banana bread. I
yeah,
use a little
yeah,
bit of chocolate, and
yeah.
in banana bread, you can
Exactly,
kind of like tell it, but like it's not a strong note. But when you put the Bourbon Street on top of it, for some reason, it just like
bro,
amplifies that chocolate a lot.
bro. That is the best way to explain it. You just
Yeah,
nailed it on the head. Now that I'm sniffing it, I'm getting that chocolate note.
yeah.
Like if okay, I'm gonna let people right now know this before I we kind of wrap things up so I can eat because I am starved.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah,
um but I'm gonna let the fragrance family know and the YouTubers that are watching and whoever, if you want a good fragrance that is gourmand in a part in the fact that like that chocolate gourmand type thing, because you're not going to get it fully with just banana bread, but if you layer that with Bourbon Street, that chocolate note does come out more mixed with that banana. Like all you really smell is chocolate and banana at that
yeah,
point.
yeah,
Like you don't even smell the rest of Bourbon Street. Like
yeah. It's
I knew I
completely
was smelling
different.
something different
Yeah,
when I was moving my hand away. And now that you said that, that's exactly what you get. And it's like if you like, I know a lot of people like chocolate dipped bananas, which is delicious.
oh yeah.
There you go, a chocolate
That's
dipped
what it
banana.
is. Yeah, it does smell like that a lot. Yeah. It's
That is
really interesting. It's
crazy,
not what you would expect from mixing these two things, that it would come off as super chocolatey, but that's
yeah.
what's happening. I mean,
Hey,
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
for everybody who's recommended, you said Claudia, right? Recommended this,
Yeah,
right?
Claudia Nairi. Yeah, big shout out to her. She's awesome.
Claudia, I guarantee you, watching if you're watching this video, if you're not, if you watch it later, whatever, Claudia, you have a nose for fragrances,
Yeah.
or maybe
Yeah,
it's a
Claudia
nose
is
for
great.
Hez's fragrances. I don't know,
Yeah.
but you have a
Yeah.
nose for fragrances because this is hands down my favorite layering combo from Hez Parfums. This could just be a flanker of either banana. This could be a banana bread flanker. Like
Yeah.
I don't think this could be a Bourbon Street flanker because I would say the Bourbon Street Oud may be a good flanker, or maybe even
Yeah.
Bourbon Street with Cafe Beignet. I don't know, but
Yeah. You wouldn't even know
this,
that this is Bourbon Street in this mixture here.
yeah,
It just smells so different.
that, oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I mean, hey, as a recommendation, brother, if you want to make some flankers of these, man, you just
Oh,
never know,
yeah.
man. You could do like a
Yeah.
Bourbon Street elixir or a banana
Yeah.
bread, parfum or
Yeah.
know, man. But we just throwing things. But we gonna talk, man, because
Oh, yeah.
I think I might just realize I might have some ideas, man. Like
Oh, yeah.
crazy,
Yep.
So you never know, man. And last but not least, I know you was talking about Neeb and how y'all are combining. I'm not gonna say anything, but I have an idea from watching his channel and know what he represents and watching your channel. I'm saying watching your channel, but knowing what you represent when it comes to fragrances, I can
Yeah.
almost see like, man, that's gonna be nice. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
that's gonna be nice because his
I
style
mean,
compared to your style,
yeah.
just be
Oh,
on the
yeah.
lookout.
We're coming together to make something truly special. I mean, and Neve and I, we're good friends,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Neve supports me a lot with what I'm doing with Hez
absolutely.
Parfums. He always
Yeah,
has, and like, I'm a big supporter of his with his channel, and I just
yeah,
think it's great, when we have these connections in Fragcom, to be able to celebrate that also with collaborations and with fragrances and stuff. Because the way I see, Fragcom is, this is a community for me. You know what I mean? So like, and I want to be involved with the community. I want to highlight the community. I like to be, part of it. So, emphasizing the special connections that, people have, reviewers, perfumers, all the people that are involved. We all interact online, and sometimes it seems like maybe it's all just social media stuff. But, there's so many deep friendship and connections in the fragrance community. And, even though we're mainly online seeing each other, that doesn't take away from the realness of the friendship and these connections. So I love the idea of doing collaborations and getting, somebody like Neeb, who has an excellent nose, in a totally different style of, of preferences and things like that. That's what makes it really special to do a collaboration like that, because that you're not going to get something that's typically from me. You're not going to get something that's typically his style either. You're going to get, what happens when the two of us come together and meet in the middle and figure out, where we do combine and stuff. So I'm really excited about that. And I think, we really have, what we've worked on so far is really nice too. So I don't want to give away too much information, but
exactly.
Yeah, something to look forward to. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because I tell people I have a good nose for fragrances, but then I have a good mind for it too. So like I haven't like talked to him to know what you guys are working on. I haven't talked to you, but just from knowing you guys' style, because when I become friends with people like Neeb and other people in the community, I get a sense for their style to say, okay, well, if let's say I do a live with Neeb one day, then I know we're going to talk a lot of Middle Eastern fragrances. Because that's his style. If I talk to like my boy Trayvon over at Scent Talk TV, we're going to talk a lot of probably some cheapies, some clone fragrances, some stuff you can get from your rack stores, things like that. If let's say one day I talk to Justin Copeland, we're going to talk a lot of niche. We're going to talk a lot of niche, maybe a few designers, because that's their style.
Exactly.
So. And I appreciate each and every person's style, because if everybody's style was the same, who's going to blow up in the community? Everybody has to have their style.
So, and the thing about, this connections and stuff is that, back in the old days, you had big fragrance brands. I mean, there was always some indie brands around, but like most people in the fragrance community, it was consumers and brands. That's basically the relationship. Nowadays, it's not like that. Nowadays, we have a fragrance community with people who have, expertise and specialize in different things. And because we're a community and we can come together, we really boost each other up and help each other do things that individually we may not be capable of doing on our own. Like me and the perfuming thing, it's because of the fragrance community and the support that I get from the fragrance community that makes it possible. And and for me to be successful or to continue to grow and to learn new things, I have the best resource right here, available to me, because every single person that's involved with this community has something to offer and to share, whether it's feedback on what I'm doing, feedback on what they think about my fragrances, or feedback on what the industry is doing, whatever it is, like, everybody is contributing to Hez Parfums and to everybody else's projects that we got going on. And I think that it's amazing, to see that it's no longer big brands and consumers. It's a community that's kind of working together to make really amazing things happen and available to people that used to not be available at all. So, I mean,
the love, man, I mean, to be honest, I'll even be real, and then I'm gonna, get off. But, even in the fragrance community, from what I've noticed, is like from where I started to where I am now, I've had pretty much every aspect of, people in and out. I've had the people that I've stuck with from the beginning. I've had the people that I can consider they could be haters. I would say that. I've had, people steal my concepts, that comes with it, but at the same time, I just tell people all the time, I never, do anything but show love. I never do anything but show love. I don't care what you do to me. I'm just going to show you love. I'm going to support you. I'm going to there could be somebody right now, trolling right now. Let's say they post something. I'm like, man, you trolling. I will still go to your page and say, man, like, comment, subscribe to this brother, whatever the case. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're all here to show love. So with every single person in here, with every single person that's in the YouTube community, I appreciate y'all, because
absolutely.
I mean, that's how it has to be, man. We're just a family of brothers, man. But at the same time, just like blood brothers, you get along with people you don't. Whatever.
It's never gonna be perfect. But the thing you have to ask yourself is, does the fragrance community and your involvement with the fragrance community bring joy to your life? And if it does, then it's worth contributing in a positive way, Exactly. And it's also, if it does, it's worth ignoring the negative aspects of it, because why allow that little petty stuff to take away from something that brings joy to your life? So, for me, I look forward every morning. I wake up and I'm excited to check in, see who's made some videos, who's dropped some new videos, what's going on in the fragrance community. How is so-and-so doing? I heard somebody had a baby. That's awesome. You know what I mean? These things are this is the community that I'm involved with. So I think about people and I look forward to the interactions, and I just think that, we're all kind of blessed to be in a position where it's not just, us talking about buying fragrances. I mean, the fragrance community is so much more than that, people that actually support each other to do a lot of different things. And it's really incredible. Yeah,
man. So yeah, definitely, man. I'm gonna kind of wrap things up, but I definitely appreciate you, man. Always.
Yeah, you too, brother.
We definitely keep in contact. We definitely always are here, man. We definitely want to be talking more, because I do want to kind of shoot little ideas or whatever, just to throw them out, things like that.
I'm always open. I love it. Yeah, I love the feedback.
Of course, man. And I mean, keep up the good work, man.
Thank you, brother.
You're really blessed with this talent, you've learned from other people, but at the same time, now you're on your own. And I feel like it's a blessing that you got blessed with this talent that is just so impeccable, I mean, you do not have a bad fragrance. I think you have 8 right now that's out on the market.
11.
Yeah. 11 is out. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm losing count, man. Because you're releasing so you have 11 out right now.
Yep.
And literally not a single fragrance is bad.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna test myself before I leave. Let me see if I can name every fragrance that's out right now.
Yeah. Let's see what you got.
Not even looking. Okay, so Bourbon Street. Let's see. Banana Bread, Blue Dog, Cafe Beignet. Let's see. Hand Grenade, Daiquiri Original, Blue Bayou. I said Cafe Beignet already. Lord have mercy. I'm losing it. But I'm gonna get it. The one Hurricane. Okay, Hurricane. Did I say Big Easy Tropical yet?
I don't think so. Did you?
Big Easy Tropical.
No, I don't think you did.
Yeah, Big Easy Tropical. That's where am I at now? How many?
You got 9.
I have 9. So I still have 2 more. Okay, Big Easy Tropical. Did I say Blue Dog?
You said Blue Dog, yeah.
Blue Dog. Okay. Raspberry Electric.
Mm-hmm.
That's number 10. And then last one is did I say Daiquiri Original?
Yeah, you did.
I did. Yep. I said Daiquiri Original. I said Hand Grenade. Oh, Plum Confecture. Wow.
Yep.
The one that I couldn't find.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Look, I couldn't find it, and then my mind can't find it either. Pumpkin
Yeah,
fix.
don't
So
feel
see,
bad. I made these fragrances, and yesterday when I was going through there, I forget what I called Big Easy Tropical, but something else came out of my mouth. I don't even know
yeah,
what it was. I
that's
was
funny.
tired, so I just said something.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
yeah.
that
When you
lets you
get to
know,
the
brother.
11, yeah,
It definitely lets you know, brother, how much I really do value what you do and I support you because I literally just named them off the top of my head. It lets you know that I'm always coming
yeah,
back to his. Like I've reviewed other houses and shout outs to every house that I've reviewed, but y'all gotta step up, man. You gotta step up to his, man. Like
yeah,
I support each and every person that is making fragrances, especially the indie houses. But
yeah,
his is so unique, man. And that's just my brother from another mother, man. And
yeah.
appreciate
Appreciate it, man.
everything you're doing, brother. And keep up the good work, like I always say. Stay being blessed. Not only am I just wishing you on wishes, but I'm praying that you, your family, all the success in the world, man. And I love you, brother. So,
Yeah, yeah.
we
Much love to
good.
you too, man. And you're one of our biggest supporters, and it really
Mhm.
means a lot to me. It truly does.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, man.
yeah,
I when I see people doing things not only the right but the righteous way, meaning you're just doing it with a good heart, I gotta support. So
yeah,
that's why I
yeah,
support everyone. Like I said, like your Neebs, like your like and of course M3, and just everybody who's doing stuff the right way. Like I said, my boy Centaur TV. If you don't know him, support him, man, because he's
yeah.
the same person. I've done lives with him. My boy Trey Sense, I've done a live with him. My boy House of Colossus.
Oh
I've had
yeah.
him on the
Shout out to Jeremy.
channel.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
had him on the channel.
D4G.
Yep,
Yep.
D4G, man. All those people, I support because they support,
Yeah,
So shout outs to every last one of them. If I'm missing out, TLGT reviews, man, he's shouting me out, man. Justin Copeland has mentored me, in the game, man. Like he's talked to
yeah,
me behind the scenes, That's why I like, brother, when your Instagram page got deactivated, I was right there, like, man, what can we do to get it back, man? I don't even know
yeah.
because like they just deactivated my boy Justin Page for like no reason,
That's
and he
wrong.
got it
Yeah,
back, and I was right there, like, yes, we did it,
yeah,
and I felt like that was an accomplishment. So if you
yeah,
support me, I'm gonna support you 10 times harder, and you see that, like this is our second live, and this is definitely not our last live.
yeah,
We're gonna do plenty more. And like I always say at the end of my videos, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend's mother, father, sister, brother, cousin that we're here, that I do poetry and send reviews, and Hez makes excellent fragrances so that I can do poetry and send reviews, And so, man, like I said, it's nothing but love. But now it's time for me and the wife to go get some grub. And I
yeah.
will
Absolutely.
on the next time, man. Much love, like I always say. Salute and peace, man.
Yeah. Much love to everybody. Bye.
All righty, brother.
Take care, D.
Yes, sir.